What's up, boss? You believe that? Hold on. Do you believe that? Y'all and they gonna be personal. You think I'm gonna let them they say y'all and they gonna get personal?
What is going on, Buff Nation? You guys having a wonderful Sunday evening? But yeah, hit that like if you like those boys thick, like I do. I love to hear the fact that our D-line is adding some weight, adding some strength, bulking up a bit. Going to talk about that a little bit tonight. And again, shout out to everybody in the chat. I love CC member for 2 months of the fellas. I absolutely love that. Hey, Jesus walk, pause. Exactly. But guys, you know, I think sometimes, man, we treat this whole thing because we talk about this team every day. You know, we treat this thing like these guys don't understand what needs to change with the team or like what we need to do to improve to get more wins this next year. We've talked a lot about, man, we were way too thin on the inside this past year. They understand it. They get it. And wow, we're going to talk about Chaz Wallace here in just a minute. But I'm excited about this, guys. This is good news. Again, you're not going to see me hyping guys up from practice footage saying these guys are going to be ballers or anything like that. But we're starting now to see the results of guys being in the program for a year or so. So let me go ahead and cut the music. We'll go ahead and get started here. But man, I absolutely loved to see this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you guys this. If you haven't seen this, Chaz Wallace here saying, you know what? Showing some of the handwork that he's doing. And then also, I mean, looking good there. Okay. I think we can all say that our D-line, we need those fast hands too, obviously. But the big news that I want you guys to take note of from here is 310 pounds now, by the way. And there was somebody that came in here in the comments the other day. I forget who it was that was saying, right now we only got one guy that's above 310, being Anquan Barnes on the defensive line. We definitely need some more beef, and I agree with them. Of course, size or the amount of pounds, only means so much. We've had guys on the line in past years at CU that were well over that 310 mark, but didn't do much. But I think that we can all say that we're recruiting some different types of dogs here, and it's nice to see Chaz Wallace now been in the program. I want to say at least since the summer. I can't remember if he was here in January last year or not. I want to say he wasn't, but y'all can correct me if I was wrong. But this now brings us up to two guys at that 310 plus size. So that would be Chaz Wallace coming over here from Old Dominion, if I remember correctly. I think he's got a couple more years of eligibility. Let me bring this up. And of course, Anquan Barnes, the Alabama transfer, a guy who hasn't really seen the field much at all, but hoping that he can be a impactful rotational player for us this year. Or at least that's my expectation. We didn't see a ton from Chaz Wallace this past year. 253 snaps, and hopefully we see an improvement from the guys that stuck around. Chaz Wallace as well as Amari McNeill, those guys take another jump because they're in the program for another year. They're getting stronger, they're adding mass, they're adding muscle strength, all of that, and they're also going to be playing alongside better line talent this year. And so hopefully you see everybody's grades, everybody's stats, that they all take a jump this year because of that. Not too much seen from Chaz Wallace, but again, having that size right now, I was talking about this yesterday with Bishop Thomas a little bit. Right now, we only got a handful of guys at that interior defensive line position. And so we definitely need bodies. And right now it's encouraging to see guys that are on the team adding more size. And Chaz Wallace this past year, they had him listed here, at least on PFF, at 295. If we take a look at the spring football roster that CU has up for us right now, you can see we got Shane Cokes. I'm sure he's, what the heck? Shane Cokes, I'm sure he's bigger than that 275 or whatever he's at right now, but you can see Chaz Wallace, 295. Now he's saying he's 310. And I wanted to include Amari McNeill in this because I'm assuming that if Chaz Wallace is taking this type of jump, Amari McNeill is another guy that we can expect to be putting on more size this offseason as well. Really looking forward to seeing how he performs for his junior year. I think he's going to be one of the main people playing inside for us this year. And hopefully we see a really good jump in production from him. Again, Bishop Thomas, I spoke on this yesterday. Great to see he's included on this roster, even if he's not with the team right now. That's showing that he is giving himself a chance to get back on the team. Hopefully Bishop gets everything right off the field with all the books and the academics and everything like that, the discipline, to where he earns enough trust from the staff to be welcome back on the team. I would love to see that. And Quinn Barnes, I think that he's going to get a handful of snaps from us. Chidozie Nwankwo, I think he's our most talented defensive lineman that we have right now. A little bit lighter. And then Tarian Carter coming over here from Arkansas, guy that's weighing in at 303. Hopefully he can put on some more size as well this offseason. And of course, that means strength, but alongside that. But I want to credit Coach Mo, our director of sports performance, our leading strength coach, coming over here from Georgia. I think that he's done a great job with the team so far. I think that we were well conditioned this past year, and now we're going to see the impact that he's having on player development with seeing them year after year, or offseason after offseason, continuing to develop as athletes, add more of that strength, bulk up. We've already seen the impact that Coach Mo has had with Cormani McLean. I did a video on him a little while back about things are starting to click with Cormani, which is fantastic. I mean, he's only been here for about, seven months now or so. And to see the bulk that he has put on, that's wonderful to see. And I mean, Cormani still got another year or two here with us, which is great. Also, want to go ahead and shout out our chef, our head chef, executive chef, Carl Solomon. I mean, this guy is keeping everybody well fed. If you're not following him on Instagram, what are you doing? Lobster mac looks delicious. Beef and jasmine rice stuffed peppers. Okay. But the players, they get the top-notch food. They get a fine dining experience. That bourbon chicken. Look at the plating. Hey, you want to keep things a little casual? They got some of that. They got pastries for the players. I mean, look at this gyro right there. You got the veggies, the meats, all that. Classic cheeseburger with Ralphie sauce. Lobster. Love it, love it, love it. He had some more steaks in here. Yeah, I got a ribeye right here. And I'm sure you guys have seen the tomahawk steaks as well. But yeah, he's got this kitchen in great order. Shout out to the kitchen staff. One thing I wanted to point out, it's been a little while since I've done a video on this or talked about this with Coach Prime. I really love the fact that he is really highlighting and integrating the kitchen staff into everything that they're doing with the media, giving them the spotlight that they deserve, the attention that they deserve, the credit that they deserve, along with, I was just thinking about this weekend, with the way Coach Prime has also embraced Peggy. We haven't seen coaches in the past embrace the twins. Well, I'm sure Coach Prime would have embraced Betty the same way if she were still with us right now. But I love the fact that Coach Prime is really bringing everybody together. I think it's definitely a family type atmosphere. And I just wanted to take a little bit of time to credit these people because this is a huge part of what CU is building here. The fact that they can come in for 3, 4, 5 meals a day and get top notch, fine dining quality food. That's not something every college can offer, So this is wonderful, man. I wish I could have the mussels here. I absolutely love mussels, but I have a severe shellfish allergy that I discovered I had while eating mussels, so can't have them anymore, sadly. But I did want to highlight too Amari McNeill's stats. Again, 6'4", 295. I would expect him now if Chaz Wallace is putting on that type of weight. Hopefully we can see Amari McNeill around that 310 range. We need guys with a lot of size. We need multiple guys with that type of strength, power, size to throw around to make things difficult for opposing offensive lines. But Amari McNeill, I think, had a really great year. When you look at his redshirt sophomore year, he took a big jump here in terms of his pass rushing grade. Little bit of a downside with the run defense grade, but like I said, guys, this is still productive. And I would say that Amari McNeill was probably one of our best 2 defensive linemen on the year, and probably our most improved on the line throughout the entire season. And I would expect to see him take another jump. And as I was saying, sorry, I interrupted myself. Everybody's going to be playing with better talent this year, better athletes. So I think you will see an overall improvement for everybody's stats and grades along the defensive line. The fact that we don't need to be playing Shane Cokes out of position anymore because they feel like right now the position group on the interior is where it is at least at a level to where it needs to be at in order to move Shane Cokes out of there. That's great. And I would assume that we're bringing in another 2-3 bodies on the defensive line in the transfer portal this spring and summer. So it's only going to get better. But I love to see this, guys, that we're seeing development. We're seeing with our own eyes, like we're seeing the weight, the strength, the muscle these guys are adding. And again, I've been one to criticize Coach Prime in some sense, saying, hey, he didn't get the Sean Lewis hire right. That was a coordinator hire that obviously wasn't the right fit. Not every head coach or guy that's putting together a coaching staff is going to get every single hire right every single time. Now, I do think that he has adjusted in a way in which you're going to see improvement in competency with Pat Shurmur calling the plays this year. And it was nice that he hired from within. That type of structure, promoting guys from within at a lot of positions, that continuity is what leads to a greater winning culture, in my opinion. But I want to shout this out too. Coach Mo, I think, is definitely one of those hires that Coach Prime has gotten right off the bat. And again, we could see it this past year with how well conditioned our team was. Our team wasn't very deep, but it was well conditioned. And I think you'll continue to see Coach Mo's effect on this team later into this year as we start the season, of course, as well. And we'll see some of these guys that have been in the program for a year start to take that jump. Athletically, we'll be able to see a substantial difference with their strength, size, speed, all of that. So credit to Coach Mo, credit to Carl Solomon, Chef Solomon. Thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. And yeah, I mean, that's all I really wanted to comment on tonight. I'll get to some of your questions here for just a little bit, but this is something that, again, I think that our D-line right now is still the biggest question mark that we have in terms of the interior on the team right now. But this is an encouraging sign to see that the guys that we have are developing. Okay, Vizzy, very impressed. Good job, Chaz. Absolutely. Eric Morris, hope you're doing well. Hey, we're getting more beasts, that's for sure. Dave, I didn't know we had another tight end and running back. Maybe we should let CU work. I think we'll get one, but we'll have to see what happens with Savell Smalls at the tight end position. Hopefully, we can see a lot more of Louis Passarello this year. He was a guy that I was excited to see this past year, and we just didn't get to see him due to injury. But yeah, I would like to see some more tight ends added, but at least we've added one, and I would like to see another running back added as well. We got a lot of time to get this done, but hey, what is this whole thing? Where's all the fun in it if we're not giving our 2 cents telling these guys how to do their job? Dex coming in here with a hot take. I'm calling it. We're going to have a top 10 defense and offense this upcoming season. I'll meet you halfway there, Dex. I'll say we'll definitely be top 10 in defense and top 10 in offense in the Big 12. That's 16 teams. So I think we'll have average, hopefully, at least an average defense within the conference and one of the best offenses. That's what I'm hoping. One of the best offenses in the Big 12. But man, if we have a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense, I think in the conference that we're in right now, I think that definitely means that we have a great shot at the college football playoff. I need to check to see what our betting odds are right now. Of course, last time I looked at winning the national championship, it's plus 30,000. So you bet $100 and they win the national title next year, you're $30,000 richer. I mean, isn't that nice? But I'm not expecting CU to be there next year, but I am going to put some money down on it just for fun. Always got to hedge myself, right? Yo, Dave, any truth to the article about CU operating on an $8 million deficit since Prime? All this is the accounting. You always want to be showing a loss, guys. You always want to. You want to be showing a loss. I wouldn't stress about that at all. All athletic departments should be doing this. Hey, if you guys run a business, you understand. You want to be writing things off, all of that, to make it look like you do not owe anybody anything. So I want to freak out about it. But the only time I'll start to panic is if we ever start getting articles out there like UCLA did, over the last couple of years, or Arizona, that they're operating at like a $150 million deficit or something crazy like that. Astronomical numbers. But showing an $8 million loss on the year seems like typical accounting magic to me. But to be fair, Lamar, I haven't read the article. All I know is that what I do for contracting, what I've done like on this channel, for instance, it's my goal after every fiscal year to show a loss. Buff since birth, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing all right. I'd like to see Charlie Offerdahl this year. It's going to be epic. If Charlie Offerdahl is our 4th, 5th string running back again, I'm fine with that. But I would like to bring in, with me just being selfish or high maintenance, I would like to bring in another legitimate game changer athlete at the running back position. Somebody like Alt McCaskill pre-ACL tear, because as pumped up as I am to see Alton, it's just been so long. Kevin Ebron saying he sees us winning 10 games at least, no doubt. Man, right now I got us at 9, but I'll take anything 7 and above. Wait, what? Is TB's channel going away? Miss Ross, thanks for the positive channel. TB's channel will be gone by Friday. Keep up the good work. Wait, what's going on with TB's channel? I love TB. I need to check in. Dex, this is a nice little stat here that you have. All Big 12 quarterbacks threw over 10 interceptions this past season. Our secondary should lead the Big 12 with the most interceptions. Wow. Wow. That's nice to know that we're going to a turnover-prone conference, right? I do know that we got some new quarterbacks entering the conference. I know Baylor got a really big transfer. His name is escaping me right now, but I mean, I got high expectations for this secondary. I have high expectations for this defense. Again, guys, 128th ranked defense. If we can get, like I talk about our offensive line, if we can just get ranked somewhere in that average nationally out of the 130 teams, that's a huge jump. That's a huge jump. If we can get there with our offensive line, if we can get there with our defense, we're going to be winning a lot of games this year. No doubt. Chase Summers, we could be taking, putting Draylon Miller as our future running back. That's a really interesting idea. I haven't thought about that. You know what? Draylon does remind me a lot of Laviska Shenault, one of my favorite buffs of all time. He was, our best buff when I was over at Boulder for graduate school, and he could do everything. He could be that outside boundary wide receiver. He could run the wildcat, being that guy to take the snaps, can throw it. He can line up in the backfield as running back. He can take the reverses, the handoffs, the options, whatever you want, and was a guy that really ran like a running back once he had the ball, kind of in the mold of probably the most popular player with this sort of skill set, the most elite, is Deebo Samuel, So I think Draylon Miller kind of falls in line with those types of athletes, Deebo Samuel, Laviska Shenault. And what I loved about Laviska is that whenever we needed a big play, our teams weren't very good in 2018, 2019, but whenever we needed a big play in a lot of those close games, he came up with it. Guys, go watch those Nebraska game highlights. We don't win those games without him. He was by far our most impressive and important player, and making clutch touchdown catches at the end of those games. Let's see here. Really Flawed. Y'all go subscribe to Really Flawed as well. Hey, Really Flawed, if you haven't put out a video on this, maybe you do. I need to check in. I apologize if you already have, but what's with these rumors with the Steelers going after Russell Wilson? I mean, I would absolutely love it if we could trade him and give that contract over to y'all over in Pittsburgh, but that just sounds crazy to me. I hope y'all don't do it. But yes, I just gave some free advice on doing taxes, guys. Yeah, you always want to show yourself having a loss as much as possible, okay? It's just what you want to do. So, and if you're running your own business, or you got your own what do you call it, like 1080s, or need to do like a Schedule K or something like that when you're filing taxes and you're having trouble showing a loss, hire somebody to help you out with it. Oh, okay. I'm glad you did put this video out. I'll have to go see it. Thank you. Apologies. Posted it on Friday. There is a way, but don't think you'll love it. Hey, if we need to give up some draft capital, honestly, I'm fine with it. $85 million cap hit over the next 2 years. Man, it would be nice to get that off the books. He did put his house up for sale on Friday, by the way, listing it for $24 million. If this defense ends up in the top 30 in the nation, does Rob Livingston end up as a head coach somewhere? Maybe. I really wonder what his end game is. Is it to get back to the NFL, this time as a guy who's calling plays as a DC and then going from there? Or does he really see himself in college long term? That's a really interesting thing to think about. Now, I think, some people theorize that Sean Lewis kind of already had this whole San Diego State job lined up like early in the season, So, hey, if we get off to a hot start, who knows what happens? But if we're talking about a Power 4 college football head coaching job, I would say that's probably the baseline for where the defense needs to be for him to get that type of consideration. And yeah, probably for the NFL too. But I really wonder what he wants to do. In some of the interviews that I saw with him, he was talking about how he was, really looking forward to getting back into college, missing some of that. Of course, it's the Wild West out here right now in college football with all your players essentially on 1-year contracts. So, yeah, I don't have a clear read yet on him. If he strikes me as somebody who's like in it for the long haul with college football, or because again, this is what I thought would happen if we were going to grab somebody directly from the NFL to be DC here, is that it was probably a position coach of some sort that wants to call plays, that wants to be a DC, but wasn't given that opportunity yet to be a DC at the NFL level. But they want to call plays. They want to do that right now. And I think Rob Livingston, Al Harris was another guy that we talked a lot about. Yeah. So I do wonder, okay, if he has a really successful year, could you see him jumping back up to the NFL? I would say that probably my bet would be on him to do that, just because he's spent the last 12 years in the NFL. But again, I don't really have a clear read on that. But that's a really great question. Buffs and Spurth, Blake Shipping is the new quarterback for Baylor. Thank you for that. Hey, Kevin, I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, want to say hello to a lot of the new people, I guess, that have found the channel. I've had a couple videos that have just popped off over the last few days. So welcome to the channel. We're on our way to 7,000 subscribers. I mean, isn't that just insane? I've been doing this for about a year, and this is no fun without y'all. So I learned very quickly after I started live streaming that this is just the most fun. Having direct responses with you guys is phenomenal, and I learn a lot from you guys, and I hope you guys learn a thing or two from me every now and then. Hey, East Coast Kev, I appreciate the $2 super chat. Longtime supporter of the channel. Now, my memory might be poor. Where's my wrench? Am I forgetting something? Am I forgetting something that you told me about that you deserve and I told you so for? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember it right now. But nonetheless, I appreciate the $2 super chat. And Lamar, this is a great point. Rob is young and likable. If he turns out to be a stud, yes, college football can use another great up and coming coach to add to the carousel. Absolutely. And I do like that we have somebody kind of balances out, with Pat Shurmur, somebody who I kind of feel like is towards the end of his coaching career in some respects. And he's been an NFL head coach. He's been through the ringer as an offensive assistant, play caller in the NFL. I think now he's just looking for, something maybe a little bit less intense compared to, for instance, the New York Giants in that New York media, right? But I love the balance that we brought in a defensive coordinator, somebody who has their whole coaching career ahead of them, somebody who is young and energetic, who I think can be a force out on the recruiting trail because he was a former scout before he started coaching for the Bengals, understands traveling around all these SEC parts of the country, has relationship already with a lot of these coaches because of the time he spent as a scout. And again, guys, I'll hit on this. This isn't talked about enough, is that the man survived multiple DC changes, multiple head coaching changes at Cincinnati. A guy has spent like 12 years or so in the NFL and has never been fired. Great coaches are fired a lot in the NFL. And the fact that he hasn't shows that he has, in my opinion, he has a lot of promise, and he has, what's that word I always use? Competency. He has competency, guys. Yeah, outsider. I don't know what it means with the wrench. I missed it. I missed it. East Coast Kev. All right, guys. Well, this is a little bit shorter of a live stream. Saban was fired. Was he fired, or did he leave the Dolphins for Alabama? I'm trying to remember. But yeah, I mean, we see guys again. I think Mike Vrabel needed to be fired, but I think he's a really good coach. And good head coaches are fired all the time. Like you see, just because Steve Wilkes got fired, he's a bad DC. No, that man's going to be calling another really good defense this next year. Saban left. Saban was fired. Guys, I don't know which it was. It was forever ago. So, guys, again, like, yeah, when guys get fired from the NFL, it doesn't mean they're trash. It's a lazy take. Same with college football. And football coaches are just fired all the time. But, hey, if you're able to stick around for over a decade at one place, that's probably for good reason, especially at the NFL level. So that's why I'm really excited about Rob Livingston. A lot of times I want to call him Sean Longfellow. I don't know why, but I'm trying to make sure I get Rob Livingston, get that name right. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. Really appreciate your time. Again, credit to Chaz Wallace for putting in this work. It's great to see him at 310. Credit to Coach Mo for getting him there, for Chef Solomon providing all the great nutrients and food. And heck, now credit to Redcon One. Hopefully the whole team now is going to be being gifted all the right supplements and, you know, protein, creatine, all that stuff that they need. So I appreciate you guys as always. I'll be back tomorrow, and Go Buffs.